I'm over here again at the W3 school, and I'm under jQuery. And I would like you to look over these first chapters here under the home, the intro, getting started, syntax, selectors, and events. Then for your homework, you're going to go over the hide, show, fade, and I think you can choose between slide or animate, one of those. I'm going to take you through a couple of these chapters, and we're going to build one page in Dreamweaver. In terms of getting started, I want to point out what is the most important thing here. On this page is going to talk about how jQuery has to be hosted. Either you can download jQuery, and you're going to have the files, and just like when we were working with Lightbox, we would include a script source and then tell the browser where to go to be able to get that jQuery file. Or the other thing you can do is you can reference it by putting the link to where someone else is hosting the jQuery library, and that is, I think, the preferred way to work. So all we need to do is include this script here at the top of our page, and as you can see between the heads, and this is going to tell the browser where to be able to go to get to the jQuery library. So remember, jQuery is a library of JavaScript. It allows for interactions, but to be able to understand the words, the code of jQuery, I'll just pull some up, such as hide and show, so things like that, hide and show, for the browser to understand how to implement them, it has to go to the library where that's all spelled out, so to speak. So you have to have that library. So going back to the getting started, I'm going to scroll down here. So my preferred method is to copy this, and we'll do it right now. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go over to Dreamweaver and create a new file, and I'll call this the jQuery practice. Let's open it up, and I'm going to paste that right after the title tag, so it goes between the head tags. All my code that we've been doing so far, such as the CSS, is always going between the opening and closing head tag. Okay, so I'll go back over to the W3 school, and let's talk about the syntax that we use with jQuery. And I'll just talk you through a little bit of it. So I think I pointed out before when we were working with the Lightbox, $sign stands for jQuery. What's in the parentheses is the selector. Basically, we're telling jQuery, go find this thing and then perform an action, whatever this action is, and that's the jQuery, to the thing that's inside the parentheses. So here are some examples. I'll start down at the bottom. Here it's saying, do this action, this jQuery action of hide, to anything that has the ID of test. In this one, do this action, this jQuery action of hide, to anything that has a class of test. And on this one, do this jQuery action of hide to anything that has the P tag wrapped around it, so a paragraph. And in the top example here is for anything that your mouse is on, so this. So you can just notice the syntax is the same that we've been using as we've been styling and writing CSS rules. The hashtag stands for ID, and the period is for class. And just to know, if we're writing a paragraph, we don't put anything in front of it. But if we're targeting a paragraph, they all have quotes in front of them. Okay, so now let's look at an example here. We're going to do the hide show together, but I would like you to continue and to look at the selectors and just read through this a little bit. And the events. So the selector is what we're going to target, and the event is what can happen, such as a click or a double click. So let's look at the hide show. And here I have an example. And if I look at this example without even trying it, I can read it and interpret it saying that I'm targeting anything with the ID of hide, that when I click something that has the ID of hide, I want it to hide something that's in a paragraph. And in this one, if I click something that has the ID of show, I want you to show something that has a paragraph. So these IDs are something that's made up. So don't get confused just because the jQuery is hide. This could also say, I'm the button that hides, or I am something that shows, anything. So now if we do the try it yourself, and we click over here, this is the button that has been given an ID of hide. But this could have been a picture, or this could have been a div, anything that we can give an ID to. And we just gave it this div of hide. And when I click on hide, it's going to hide the paragraph. and I click on show, and it's going to bring it back. Okay, so going back over here to Dreamweaver, I have my jQuery practice HTML file, and I'm going to add my paragraph, and it's going to say click below to make me disappear. And I'll close that out. And now I'm going to add a button, but this could be an image, it could be anything. I'm going to give a button with an ID that's going to equal hide, and then any text, the text that I put here is going to be the text that shows up on the button. So I'll put hide that, and then close that out. And let's just copy this and paste it below, and change this to be show that, show. This is going to have an ID of show, and I'm just going to make sure they both are not capitalized, and this one will say show that. Okay, so when we click into the design view, I have two buttons. So now I need to start adding my jQuery, and we can start with copying the text, the jQuery that we have over here, and then we'll break it down. So I have two functions here, one that does hide and one that does show, and that's exactly what I want. So I'm going to copy from script to script. So the first line of script I already have on my page, and that is the one that tells the browser, go to this address to get the jQuery library. And this script to script is all of the jQuery. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it in right after my last script. But so now it will work, but let's look to see what we have here. So we're saying, first of all, this document ready just means browser, I'm running jQuery, wait till everything on the page is been downloaded and is ready. Then you're going to run this function. So we're looking for something that has the ID of hide. That's this picture. When you click it, I want you to hide anything that's in the paragraph. And then we're running another function, and we're saying we're looking for something that has the ID of show. When you click it, show the paragraph. And again, the browser understands show and hide because it goes to the AJAX address, and it has the library there for jQuery. So let's just test that this is working. Control S, and then let's preview it. So hide that and show that. Okay, so now let's just see, since we did this with a paragraph, could we do this with a video? So I'll go over to my other page where I have my video, and I'm just going to copy one of my, I'm inside the body tag, and I'm going to copy opening to closing video, and I will paste that after my buttons here. Oh, sorry, I was not in the code view. Let's do that again. I want to paste that in the code view, so I just got a little icon there. So this time, instead of hiding or showing anything that has the paragraph tag, what if it has the video tag on it? So anything that has the video tag. So let's see how this works. So now hide that, it hides my video. Show that, it shows the video. Okay, so anything, I can substitute what's in here and with any other HTML. So if I had a div with an ID of header, it could be that when you click on this button, it's going to make the div with the ID of header disappear. So anything that I want, I could put in there. In fact, let's just do that as a quick practice. So I'll put in a div, and I'll give it an ID of header, and I'll just give it a background color and a width and a height so we can see it. And I'll give it 200 by 200 and click OK, click OK. So now I have that there. So this is something I want, now I want it to make disappear something with an ID. So header. And I want it to show something with the ID, so I have to use that. The hashtag. I'm going to save it and preview. And now it hides the div and it'll show it. Okay, so let's just do one more example. I wish I had a picture in here. I'm going to give something else an ID. Let's give, instead of the buttons being the things that are controlling it, what if this div had an ID of hide? And then I'll just add another div. And I give this div an ID of show. So basically my divs are acting like buttons. And I just need to give them some style. So instead of header, I will change this to hide. And that brings that one back. And now let's get a new rule for my ID show. I'll give it all the same stuff, but just call this one show. And let's have it go back to hiding and showing the video. Or actually the paragraph. We'll just do the paragraph. So let's save this and preview it in the browser. So now when I click on that, the div is what is hiding and showing the video. It seems to be. Actually, it seems when I click hide that, it's moving the video over there. So let's clean up the page a little bit so we can see what is here. So I have my video, I have my div with the ID of hide, and I have a div with an ID of show. Just want to make sure that's what's here, and that's what's here. And then it looked like I had these guys up here, and just a little confusing. I'm going to get rid of my buttons. Okay. And let's check it out now. See if that was just what the error was. So now it's all I want is when I click on this one, they're not working. Oh, it is working. What am I saying? The paragraph is what is disappearing. Sorry about that. I thought it was the video. But so I click on this one and it makes the paragraph disappear. I click on this one and the paragraph gets back. So as you can see, you can do all kinds of substitutions. It's just if you're using an ID is what you want to disappear, and here you want to have the hashtag, or if you want to target something as a class, and here you want to have the class. So there's all different kinds of variations you can make. Lastly, I just want to talk about the syntax. So we have our opening statement here, and then we have an opening curly bracket. This is the whole sequence of closing curly brackets, so that wraps around everything. Inside of my opening statement, I have one function and then another function. This function has its opening curly bracket here and its closing curly bracket here. This function has its open curly bracket here and its closing here. So what this means is if you're using a function that starts here with its document ready and you have this open curly bracket, you need to have a set of closing curly brackets down here. And then, so what you should see at the end would be two sets of all of these closing curly brackets. And if you only have one function, that's all you need to see. But if you have two functions, after the first one, you should see this whole set. So the semicolon, the parentheses, the closing curly bracket. Okay, so this one goes with this one goes with this one, and this one goes with this one. Okay, so back over to the W3 site. I want you to go through, so you're going to look at this first chapter up here, and then I want you to go through these for your homework.